Hi, I'm Sandi MacIver, and I've been keeping a little secret from you. I've been busy in the backgrounds and working with Spellbinders Paper Arts. I have created a new die set with them for three-dimensional gnomes. I would like to introduce you to Fergus. Isn't he cute? He's my first little die set. He's three-dimensional. He stands all by himself. And as you can see, the reason for this was I like tiered trays like many of you do, and I have a hard time finding decorations that I want for the different seasons. And so I created the gnome, and then I created a separate set of dies for die cutting all of the little felt embellishments that you see on all the little gnomes here, so that you can make some for every season and every celebration in your house. And so, quick introduction, I'm going to walk you through the two sets of dies, and then I'm going to get up close and personal, and I'm going to show you how I use the embellishments on each of these little gnomes. So stay with me. I'll be right back. Okay, so the main die set consists of three components, but you get all of the components in the one die set. So this set here creates his coat. This set here creates the body with these three pieces. And then there are two pieces to his beard. There's three circles here that you use for his nose and his two little hands. And then the third is to create his hat. So this creates the top of the hat. And then we've got two pieces that we put together for the brim of the hat to make it nice and solid. Okay, so the second set of dies are these little goodies, and they are all the embellishments to create all the different seasons and celebrations that we have during the year. And as you can tell by my display, I kind of made these to go with my tiered tray. I was having a hard time finding things that I like to embellish for my tiered tray. I like making things, so this is kind of where this started. And I have a little grid here with samples to show you different ways that you can use these dies. Okay, so bear with me because my camera's backwards, so I keep putting the wrong hand up. Let's start over here. And we have this little flower, and when you double this little flower up with this little button, you end up with this cute little sunflower. And then I stole the leaf from down here and one of the three leaves. Next, we have these three little square centers, and those are flower centers. They go with the two little flowers below here, this little pink guy and this little pink guy. So they layer on top of each other and create this little purple one. And you can also just use the single and create one single flower. There is a stem of leaves, and this was for, my idea for this was a spring or an Easter gnome, and that's these flowers along with this. I haven't made him yet. He'll be coming soon. Okay, and as I said before, there are three leaves. There's a holly for Christmas, a little tiny guy that I used on the little pumpkin in the center line there, and the one I showed you above with the sunflower. And then there's a variety. There's two different designs of leaves for fall. Okay, so down the middle, we're going to have a little bit of Halloween. We've got a large and a small bat. We have this cute little pumpkin. We have a skeleton. And you can also add a little flower to him. Now, let me see if I can do this backwards. And you could be celebrating the Day of the Dead. Okay, it's right over his eye. Never mind. Okay, we have a nice little spider web along with this cute little spider. And then starting on the bottom over here, there are three sizes of snowflakes to do either a Christmas or a winter gnome. There is this flower here, and you double it up. You can either make just a daisy with it, or I made a poinsettia with it for my Christmas gnome. There's two sizes of felt buttons, and there are a variety of things that you could do with these guys. You could use them as buttons, but they also work great as the flower centers. And then finally, we have three sizes of stars. So you could do a wise gnome. You can do a, midnight blue with nice yellow stars, or it could be part of your Halloween. So those are the embellishments. And now let me just give you a close-up of some of the samples that I have made for Spellbinders and showing you how I built these into my gnomes. Okay, I'm going to start with my little fall gnome. I haven't named him yet. Maybe I'll have a contest for names. This one I'm going to take apart so that I can show you the different elements. Okay, so here he is all in his glory, and I used the sunflowers and the small flowers and a bunch of embellishments for the front and the back. And you'll see as I take his little coat off, I also did a little bit of embellishing. And this is embroidery, and I did that on the piece before I sewed it together. And I'm going to go over that when we do the body video. So here's this little coat, okay? Just like if you were going to sew a little coat for yourself. And this little brim, the little hat, I did a stick pin, okay, to keep the hat on so that if you were picking them up and showing them to your friends, that the hat didn't fall off. And this is just an embellishment over top of a big head pin. Here's this little hat. So there's the front, okay, and then you turn it around and there's the back. And in the body, there's also a die that cuts this long strip out for the hat. And you'll also notice that I cut a second one and I used it for the little cuffs on his coat, just to add a little bit of color to his coat. Okay, so that's what they look like all pulled apart. This is the body. As you can see, it's 3-dimensional. So what you're going to do is you're going to stitch all the way around, and then you stitch this halfway, and then I'm going to show you how to stuff it. Okay, and then once you're finished with that, you're going to add the beard, and you're going to add his little nose, and you have to get the nose because that's what holds his little hat on. Otherwise, it goes right down over top of his little body. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly dress him again, and I'll introduce you to all the rest of the little guys. Let me just get his pin back in here. There we go. Isn't he cute? Whoops, I got his hat down too far. Oh, and here's an additional idea. I took some skewers from our kitchen that we use when we're barbecuing, and I made a little staff for him. And I've done this for a couple of them, but I didn't get them all done. Okay, so up next, we're going to have Halloween. I have to move out of the picture so that you can see his whole hat because it's done in black and purple. Okay, so bats on the front, bats on his body on the inside. Okay. We have a nice little spider web in purple and a little bat on the back. And I'm just going to turn this sideways. Take a look at what I did to his hat. I used the spider web, and then I used the spider. There's a little spider. Isn't it cute? And so on the top of the hat, I went around it with the little small bats. And the little trim here is done in black, obviously. And then his pin is a bat. Okay. So cute. And I did a staff for him, and I stuck a bat on the top of it. Okay, and I'm just going to line them up here for the final shot. This is my little fall guy, and this uses the small flower and also all of the different leaves. And I did them in a variety of different colors. When you look at the felt from Spellbinders, they have a lot of really beautiful colors, and I wanted to incorporate as many of them as I could. And I like teal in my fall decorations. And so we have a little bit of teal in here. We have a little bit of rust, a little bit of yellow. And for this guy's hat, what I did was, there's a pin in here. I started at the top. Okay, here we go. And then I did a swirl all the way around his hat. Okay. Sorry, I'm looking at the camera backwards. This is hard for my brain. Isn't that cute? Okay, popping that back on. Moving on. This is what the gnome looks like when it's plain. So you can build this entire thing with the first die set that I showed you. Okay, you get his little hat, you get his little jacket, you get the body and the dies to cut his beard and his nose and his hands. And so that's what it looks like before it's embellished. Okay. Next up, we have Christmas. I did this in the traditional colors, even though I seldom decorate in traditional colors. So there's going to be some wildly crazy Christmas gnomes coming up in teals and pinks. But traditional, I know lots of you love it. And so this one is your regular green and red with a little bit of white. And again, I did a little bit of embroidery on him for the front. Okay. And then on the back of his coat, we have the poinsettias and the little blue flowers and lots of the holly leaves. And same with his hat, both sides, front and back. And I didn't put any little cuffs on this one, but as you can see, I decorated it with a blanket stitch, and I do a video and show you how to do the blanket stitch when we do the coat and the hat video. So no worries, I'll show you how to make it. Okay, next up we have one of my favorites because it's got teal in it. And if you follow my card making blog, you know I like teal and green. So we have the end of the summer gnome, and he's done with all the little sunflowers. So the sunflowers for this one are done with the small button die for the center of each of the sunflowers. And obviously I did them in 2 colors, and then I used the small flowers for the inside to decorate his little body. And there's more sunflowers on the back of his coat. Okay, I'm running out of space. One more to show you. We had to do the snowflakes. So here's this cute little guy. So I went a little bit crazy with some colors and the things that I like to do for Christmas. So we have purple, teal, and blue for this little guy. And again, snowflakes on the front, snowflakes on the back, and all over his hat. And I'm going to try and move him in here for you. In the center of each of the snowflakes, I have added a little tiny button. And Spellbinders was kind enough to bring in some buttons for me for this release because they work really well on a couple of these little guys. So we got the little tiny buttons on this guy, and then I'm going to bring my little fall guy back in, and I'm going to bring him up close. He has the nice little black buttons, and these are little plastic buttons instead of doing the die cutting of the felt, and I put those on all of the sunflowers. So you can see down there on that sunflower as well. So you have an option for 2 for making these little guys, and I'm just going to line them all up for you. Give me a sec. So there we go. There is my little army of gnomes, and this is just the beginning. I have a few more that I still have to make. So I hope you will join me. Come on back. There's a whole bunch of videos below this one as we walk through each of the steps on how to create these little guys. It's going to be fun. I hope you join me. Thanks so much for your time. See you again soon. Toodles.